There's always just been rubbish on the beach and it's just been normalised all my life. It's always just covered in plastic.
It's just nothing to do but clean it up. No other way around it. You can't just leave it on the beach. It'll destroy our ecosystem.
So I was really interested to be able to get to the Gulf of Carpentaria and onto Cape York to be able to look at the Queensland side and the rubbish that we can see there. You know, our goal is to bring attention to this problem for the rest of Australia. It's about working together now with ranger groups to address this problem so that we can, you know, come up with solutions.
It's the currents that more or less from sort of Indonesia way, everything that push all over to here. So when we get the northerly winds, it's pushing onto our coastline. The Gulf of Carpentaria is the worst place for marine debris in Australia.
If this was my beach at home, I would be heartbroken and devastated.
It wasn't that long ago. You could walk on any beach, it'd be very hard to see rubbish. In the space of one generation, we've completely shafted the planet.
They say it's a hot spot for marine debris.
It was really overwhelming turning onto the beach for the first time, seeing the density of plastic and knowing that there's 24 kilometres of that right ahead.
It's just helpful that we are actually a lot of people here.
Definitely hard to remove the plastic, so we have to hire barges, put our ATVs over to manoeuvre all the people up and down the beach. That barge also takes all our rubbish off the beach, and then we have skip bins up at Cullen Point to where we get a backhoe to tip it in there for us, and then it's taken to landfill.
It has been a really good surprise here in Mapoon to see how alive it is. I thought I was going to see only crocodiles and maybe dugongs and some turtles. Instead we saw dolphins, there is sharks, reef sharks, there is stingrays. They're really full of life over here.
And probably our most important is our turtles, which we monitor later in the year for a couple of months. We do the flatback, olive ridley and hawksbill.
To preserve the ecosystem, preserve marine wildlife, and ensure their survival. Their numbers are decreasing. That's why we come out annually.
Yeah, I think it's super important to reduce the loading on the beaches from a marine life perspective. You know, we're removing this plastic debris before it goes back out in the ocean.
So we're now producing more plastic than we ever have before. And the first piece of plastic that was ever invented is still here. If this is what's going into our oceans, we're in a bit of trouble in a few years.
So these beaches are, you know, inundated constantly, and it just keeps coming and it keeps coming. Because it's far away, people don't see it, they don't know it exists.
And every individual who we can influence can then subsequently spread that word.
It's been a real honour to work with the rangers up here, up at Mapoon. They just do an unbelievable job, and it's kind of emotional to come up here and work with people that are so passionate about their land, their country, and it's really sad to see it just destroyed. And that's what's happening. It's just the level of pollution here is just insane.
Being here, there's just plastic everywhere, and you know, we're dealing with it for such a short amount of time that they have to deal with this every day throughout the year. It's inspiring.
I'd like to thank people who are volunteering and helping out just to preserve our land.
I think the plastic producers need to be looking at the way they create packaging, what sustainable, reusable is better. These ranges are coming to country that they've been looking after for years and years with never any of these issues, and it's not products that they can buy, it's not products that they can use, yet they're the ones that are left to deal with it. And I think that is a serious problem that, you know, plastic producers really need to step up and look at the long-term effects that their products are having on these people.
There needs to be change today.